Hello and welcome to Play with the D. This is, of course, the D, and you are watching these realms. It is Friday, December the 8th of 2023. That means there are today, tomorrow, and Sunday left to sign up for that free account giveaway. Have you done it yet? I've made a few improvements, again, to the squad. Thanks to the handy dandy gear swapping feature, I was able to go in and finally get past Gear Raid 316. Stone Cold Steve Austin. I have not been able to get through 17 because 16 was quite tough. I did change up my personal strategy a little bit and tried to branch out to putting my AoE on the right hand and left hand sides, and that did work for clearing down the waves, but it did not work for clearing down the boss. So what I did was I put Maul right next to the portal. I put Razak right next to the portal, and then literally just went from there. It was the most effective strategy every time I tried to do it. Any other way, I just was not getting enough damage on the boss. But over time, because of Maul's distance increase, I think he does eventually start hitting her. And that was one of the difference makers for me. Yeah. So whenever his splash damage would hit one of those mobs, it would hit her. That would help. I also took all of Valeria's gear off of her and put it on Edril. That helped a lot. And that's going to take me to another point that I want to get into right after this as well. So the boss was the main problem for me. Essentially what would happen is this wave would come down. It would die right about here. But then the boss... Why did that almost happen? But then the boss would just come down and wipe it, right? Like checkmate. But I mentioned moving all of my gear over to Edril from Valeria, right? But that was like in the middle of the night, essentially. It was probably like 11:30 or so at night. I was a little bit tired. I was just doing my last attempts, and I was like, oh, I finally got it. And then I went to bed. And I woke up this morning and I went to do Tide, and I was rearranging my people a little bit, and I took Edril off the map, and it went from 3.8k to 3.3k, and I was like, yo, wait a minute. Since when is Edril worth like 500k battle power? And then I remembered, herpity derpy derp, my dumb ass took all of Valeria's gear and put it on Edril and never switched it back, meaning that Valeria is also severely weakened. And by severely weakened, I mean she still has 55k battle power, but if we take all of her gear and we switch it back, she goes up to 70k battle power. Boom. But that's what I wanted to bring up, okay? I did a lot of gear swapping when I was trying to do Gear Raid 3 the other day. Additionally, when I was trying to do faction trials, when I was going in and doing faction trials, I was swapping mage gear around, you know, taking all my gear from Venoma and Greed and moving it to like Selkath and AI. And I moved gear so many times, I realized I don't know where this gear originated from. Have you run into that problem yet? Have you swapped gear too many times where you don't remember where your gear came from? I don't have a major solution for you. I just have a solution that works for me in the same way that my mercy tracking works for me, and it's really lame, and it's really speaks to the actual work that I do, but I use a spreadsheet. And I've got all my heroes in one column. I've got all my heroes in another column. and I've just got, a swap section in the middle. Did you swap? Yes or no? And then you basically choose in the drop-down list what hero you swapped with. It keeps a record of it and then goes from there. The game needs something like that in it. I think maybe even an Are You Sure? I don't think there's an Are You Sure option. Like if I want to switch all my gear with Razak, it just switches it. So there's not even really like a confirmation, is this what you want to do? I think that would still be useful. I don't know if it's live on the Forerunner server or test server yet. I know that this has been a feature for a while, but we only just now got it. But that was just something I wanted to kind of like put out there. If you do a lot of swapping, break out a pen and paper. You don't even have to use Excel. I just use Excel because I'm on a computer. It's just right there. It's super simple, and it's not even Excel actually. It's just Google Sheets. But yeah, just write down who you switched with. Like last night, if I had a pen and paper, I would just be like, I took Valyria and I switched your gear with Edril, and then so when I woke up, I would just be like, okay, I can switch Edril's gear back to Valyria. But if you don't do that, you just start swapping gear willy-nilly, boy howdy, you're going to get lost in the woods. And if you find a set of stairs in there, don't go up them. You've been warned. But yeah, speaking of warnings, I just wanted to put that little warning out there that if you are swapping gear and you're swapping it between more than one hero, it's a good idea to go ahead and write down who you're swapping it with in between, okay? Safety first.